Ladies and gentlemen, we are asking for your indulgence because we have some issues, very minor issues, and we'll be back as soon as it's fixed. Thank you. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. During the declared emergency, Committee of Adjustment virtual public hearings are being conducted by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. These measures are necessary to comply with physical distancing requirements and in-person attendance limitations. My name is Isaac Laluz and I'll be chairing the hearing. Panel members participating today via WebEx and can be seen and heard are Ms. Sankar, Mr. Tarodi, Mr. Bartolo, and Mr. Klassen. City staff will be assisting us throughout the meeting, including moderating the WebEx platform. Participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentation to the committee using the said WebEx. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. These participants will be connecting either by their computer, a phone, a tablet app, or by telephone. All participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. Only the committee members will be participating by video. Any registered speaker will be participating by audio only. We ask that you also mute your devices until you're called on to speak. For all those waiting online to speak, please make sure you call with the same telephone number you originally registered with. Calling with a different number, you will not be able to speak on the item. And also, please make sure not to use the speakerphone function on your telephone. The land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, I call this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment to order. The City of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provision of the zoning bylaw, permission to extend or alter legal non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, email address, because Committee of Adjustment and the TLAB will be sending notifications by email only. If you do not agree with the decisions of the committee, decisions may be appealed to the Toronto local appeal body known as TLAB, or in some limited circumstances to the local planning appeal tribunal known as LPAT. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing procedure will be as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and or take the matter directly for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when the 5-minute mark is reached. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address, and please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposal at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure that all those who are entitled to receive a notice are informed of the changes. Then individuals in support or in opposition to the application will be invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker at the end of their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has the chance to address only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will be taken to committee for a decision. Now, we have here a set of minutes to adopt. I see the two members here, and I don't see the other two. Ms. Sankar and Ms. Nazila, Ms. Atarodi. They're not here.
Mr. Chair, I think they are present. They just are having bandwidth problems with their computers, and that's why we can't see them.
I can see them fine on my end.
I'm sorry?
I can see everybody fine on my end.
Yeah, you are, but we don't have Ms. Sankar and Ms. Atarodi.
I'm here, Mr. Chair, and I can move approval of those minutes.
Oh, okay, we
That's
don't
my
see you here.
motion.
Thank you. So that's minutes of September 17, 2020. Ms. Sankar to adopt. Can I have a second? I don't hear a second.
I will second that.
Okay, Mr. Klassen.
It's Thomas. Yes.
Mr.
Thank you.
Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Mr. Bartolo, are you in favor? Okay, I don't see it. Thank you. So the minutes of September 17, 2020 are now adopted. Now, for this session, for this morning session only, staff or members, any conflict of interest to declare? I don't hear anything and I don't see anything. Okay. Now, deferral requests. Any deferral request for this morning? I don't have any.
Mr. Chair, we do have a deferral request.
That's number 34. That's in the afternoon.
We do have one this morning.
Yeah,
Let me
which
just
one?
go, I'll go find the file here for it.
Yeah, the one I have on file is number 34 for this afternoon.
I'm just going to confirm with the agent, Mehdi Hussein, that he wants to defer item number 13.
Oh, 13, okay. Number 13,
Mehdi, go ahead to confirm.
yeah, he said.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Mehdi Hosseini, yeah, we hear you. You want to request the deferral for your application?
Yes, for number 23 ROYCREST Avenue. We need to defer in order to resolve the issue with TRCA, planning department,
Okay.
and rapid bypass.
To resolve issues, okay. So you, this is for 201 Steeles Avenue, right?
No, 23 ROYCREST Avenue.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're right. Okay, so a deferral for, in order to resolve issues. Members, we have a request for number 13, which is 23 ROYCREST Avenue. Can I have a motion to defer? There is nobody else listed except for the agent. Mr. Bartolo?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll put forward a motion to defer this application to allow the applicant time to
Thank you.
liaise with the local.
Sanidai, okay?
authorities.
Sanidai?
Yes, and signing.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Atarodi.
Okay, Mr. Tarodi second. All in favor, you can say it because we don't see you.
Yes.
As a note for members, here,
Yes.
here at the council chambers, we can only see Mr. Bartolo, Giuseppe Bartolo. We can't see the other members. So if you guys could just speak up when you guys want to make a motion or second something. We're having bandwidth problems here at the Etobicoke Civic Center, and so we only can see Giuseppe here at the council
Okay,
chambers.
members, did you hear that? We see only Mr. Bartolo. So if you want to speak up, you have to speak because we don't see you. So I have a motion to defer application number 13, 23 ROYCREST, is moved by Mr. Bartolo and seconded by Ms. Atarodi. All in favor, say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anybody opposed? No. I don't hear anybody opposing. Mr. Hosseini, your application is deferred sine die for you to resolve all the problems you want to resolve, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, now we're okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to fix some issue here. So we're asking you to please stay tuned. Stay tuned. We're going to be trying to fix it.
Mr. Chair and members, I think we can continue to I think we can continue along here. It's just internally here. Everyone else, all the public can see us still. The live stream is fine. Yeah, so we can't personally see the members here in Etobicoke Civic Center, but everyone else can see them. So to the members, if you guys can just speak up and announce yourself when you guys want to make a
Motion.
motion. If you can also raise your hand in WebEx, then I can see you guys. And we'll keep trying to work away at the internet problems here at the Civic Center.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're resuming the session here. And we're sorry there is some issues here. We have only 2 members that we see. We don't see the other ones. And Ms. Sankar and Ms. Atarodi, could you please speak up when we call for anything, because we don't see you. Okay?
And as a reminder, still please raise your hand when you do want to approve something, because it can be seen by the public.
Okay.
Okay, now, thank you. Now we lost Mr. Klassen too. So anyways, we're going to start with item number 1, which is 338 Horsham Avenue, and we have only 1 agent who is registered, Mr. Ali Shakiri, and there is nobody else. Mr. Shakiri, are you there?
Yes, sir. Ali Shakiri, 326 Shepherd Avenue East.
Thank you. Okay, so we have one application here, consent for severance, and 2 minor applications, 10 variances each. We have a staff report that recommends the refusal of both the consent and the variances, and we have the councillor's letter who supports the recommendation of the staff to refuse both the consent and the variances. And we have forestry 1 and 2. So in line of this, do you want us to move ahead, or you want to request a deferral?
Sir, I wish to proceed.
Thank you. Okay, so you have 5 minutes. Tell us about your. Hold a second. I will put the 5 minutes now, and you had to tell us what is how you perceive with your application. I'll start the 5 minutes now, and please go ahead.
Sure. Won't take your time too much. It will be very brief. If I may ask, the first page of my support material be displayed.
Okay.
And we did prepare that just to show how is the streetscape on Horsham Avenue. So now reading the 4th page of the staff report, where they say it's not with prevailing size and configuration of the lots and the prevailing patterns. I think what we're proposing is actually in keeping with the character, with the size of the houses, and the setbacks. Actually, we are asking for there are existing setbacks of the houses, majorly less than that. And I see the letter from Mr. Councillor, and that is basically talking about reinforcement of and stability of the character of the neighborhood. I think our proposal actually does reinforce, and it is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood. The additional pages, I have submitted some support material showing 2 recent TLAB approvals in close proximity to recent approvals, and we believe this is a reasonable proposal. But if there is any question, I'll be more than glad to answer. I hope you move to approve.
Okay, yeah, we have the councillor's letter, and the staff is saying that the consent fails to satisfy the criteria under section 5124, and the councillor is just supporting both the consent and the variances. So we'll see if the members have any questions. And you finished your speech here?
Yes, sir. No further comments.
Thank you. Okay, I'll ask the members. Members, we don't see you. Could you please speak up? We have Mr. Shakiri made the presentation, and could you please tell us if you have any question for him?
Mr. Chair, if I could ask one question here. I see
Mr.
the images.
Mr.
Can
Bartolo,
you hear
yeah.
me okay?
Yeah, we don't see you. Mr. Bartolo has a question. Please go ahead.
I see the images presented by the applicant here, which is great. But with respect to all of these images of the character of the neighborhood, how do these images relate to the lot width that's being proposed in your application?
Some of those images, if it's displayed, I can perhaps point you out to some of them. Some of those houses are result of the same kind of application. I can see if I see it, for example, that the first one, for example, 57A and 57B, the one immediately beneath that's 85A, 85B, that's a typo, it's 85. Or 185, one of them. I don't know, maybe yeah, 185. Sorry. And then you just come lower on the page number 210, 208. I mean, any of them that you see, those two are definitely a result of a severance, and some of them are already smaller lots. So the lots frontage on Horsham Avenue is very, very diverse. And what we did, we tried to cover, and I mean, we couldn't just give you like 500 images here. So we went all across the Horsham from east end to the west, and then they tried to give you some samples. And one issue that I actually have to mention is that if we didn't go to committee of adjustment, and if we develop this lot as of right, it would result on a house that is nearly 5,500 square foot. That size of house definitely does not exist inside of the entire neighborhood. So the entire block, we do not have that size of a lot, and no one has done anything that big. And if somebody decides to do that, I believe that is not going to be reinforcing the image of the neighborhood, and it doesn't reinforce the character of the neighborhood. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Mr. Bartolo, any other question? And members, any other question? Oh, okay. Now we start to see people here. Any question to Mr. Shakiri? If not, if I hear nothing, so can we have a motion, please? Members, I need a motion, unless you have some more questions.
Mr. Chair, I will move in keeping with the staff report to refuse the consent and also the request for minor variances.
Thank you. I have a motion from Mr. Klassen to refuse both the consent and the variances. Do I have a second? I don't see anything and I don't hear anything. Do I have a second?
We can't hear you, Nadini.
I'm sorry?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I thought you were able to see me.
No,
But
you don't.
yeah, I'm seconding Mr. Klassen's motion, Mr.
Mr.
Chair.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sankar. Ms. Sankar seconding the motion. All in favor, and please speak up because we don't see you.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, I heard Ms. Sankar, Ms. Tarodi, and Mr. Klassen, and Mr. Bartolo.
I support the proposed motion.
Okay, Mr. Bartolo is against the motion, right?
No, he's in support of the proposed motion.
Okay, so we have three members.
Mr. Chair, we're all in support. Mr. Chair, all of us are in support.
It's a unanimous decision.
Yeah, you're supporting the motion, right?
That's correct. I'm supporting the motion.
The motion, and the motion is to refuse both the consent and the variances.
That's right.
Is that correct? Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you unanimously. Mr. Shakiri, we're sorry your motion, your project has been refused both consent and the variances.
Thanks for your time.
Okay. Okay, application number 2, which is 83 Florence Avenue. We have here 3 members, 3 people registered, the agent and two other area residents. Mr. Marcus Gagliardi, are you there, please?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we have here some other speakers, but we need we need a presentation now. This is a application for consent for severance and 2 variance applications, 7 variances each. Staff report recommend refusal, and the counselor supports the staff recommendation in refusing both the consent and the minor variances. We have forestry 1 and 2. We have 3 letters of support, and we have some people to speak. So please go ahead. I'll give you 5 minutes. Make your presentation and tell us the merits of your application.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the proposal, as you mentioned, is to sever an existing 15.24 meter lot into 2 7.62 meter lots. There's a list of 7 variances for both lots to reduce the lot area, lot frontage, as well as to increase the coverage slightly, the main wall height, the number of stories, and a reduction to the one side of the side yard. So as you're aware, the property is located within a neighborhood within the city's official plan. The designation permits detached houses and a variety of other houses of the residential nature. In particular for this application, as I was going through the city staff report and my own analysis, is the official plan's analysis of prevailing size and configuration of lots, as well as prevailing building types when speaking of character. The city, as you're aware, undertook their own staff-initiated zoning bylaw amendment just 30 meters to the east of this particular house on the east side of Botham Road to permit these exact size of lots that we're proposing here today. In that study, they determined that to the east of Botham, within the exact same neighborhood, it was okay for these severances to occur because they had received an abundance of applications in the past. So that exact pattern or character of application has happened here on Florence Avenue to the west of Botham. You've received applications from the owner of this lot at 83 Florence. You've also received applications in the past at 84 and 88 Florence. 88 Florence has been approved at the T-Lab. And you've also received applications at 75 and 79 Florence, which you will hear on later agendas, I believe next month. So the trend of applications for severances along Florence has definitely proceeded west of Botham. Notwithstanding that, you know, a neighborhood is not ultimately defined by black or red lines on a map. You know, it's ultimately a community that forms the neighborhood. And in this case, you know, the city identifies this neighborhood as the West Lansing neighborhood, and they do that in their neighborhood profile mapping. Now, if we go into the more specific context of this neighborhood, you know, being bound by Gwendolyn Crescent, Cameron Avenue to the south, Young Street to the east, and Bogart Avenue to the north, the city in their staff report identified 845 lots. Now, they said there was an overwhelming number that didn't support this variance. So, but the numbers they don't say is that of those 845 lots, 190 of those lots are smaller than 12 meters, which represents approximately 22.5% of the area being smaller than 12 meters. And of those 190 lots, there's actually 80 lots that are between 7.5 and 7.62 meters, which represents 42%. Those to me seem like pretty overwhelming numbers as well in favor of this type of application and in support of that type of character. I'll read a quick excerpt from the decision of the T-Lab on 88 Florence. And it says this area is a low-rise detached dwelling area of mixed sizes and mixed frontages permitted within 569/2013, legalizing these type of lots. He found that in visiting the area, which I'm sure all of you have visited this area in your analysis as well, that the prevailing character is one of detached dwellings on a mixture of lot frontages, lot sizes, and that is what makes up the character of this area. If you were to look at the zoning map of this area, it's truly a mixed bag. You've got 12-meter permissions, 9-meter permissions, 7.5-meter permissions. So it truly is a mixed use or mixed bag of character and permissions. So what we're proposing here today, if we can put the character and the frontage variance aside, we're asking for a height variance for main wall height, which when you look at the other applications that have come in on 25-foot lots to the east of Botham, have all proposed similar heights. The building itself is kept within the overall height permission of 10 meters, so that we haven't exceeded that. The variance for 3 stories as opposed to 2 is ultimately being kept within that building massing, and it's very technical in nature. I believe the homeowner association pointed out that it's so technical that people usually negate it by providing a few risers down from the ground floor to say that that's not the 3rd story. We haven't done that in this case. We could have, but we didn't. But notwithstanding that, the building itself is generally kept within the massing that it should be. The coverage we're proposing is 32.4%. I read in the staff report that 32 is the acceptable standard. In that regard, I would say we're only 0.4% away from that, which in this particular application only represents about 5 square feet, which is very minor. And the side yards that we're proposing.
Mr. Gagliardi, you exceeded your 5 minutes, and could you please summarize?
Yes, I'll summarize, Mr. Chair. Thank you for letting me know, and I apologize for going over. I'll summarize that the application is definitely within character of the area and the trend that has occurred in the area. And that being said, the variances we requested are minor and desirable. And I just want to recognize that we did canvass the neighborhood, specifically the neighbors to our immediately adjacent to us, as well as across the street. We've obtained letters of support, and I don't see any other reason to not permit this type of application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the members, this gentleman will be back after we hear the other speakers, so you'll have some chance to question him after that. So we have here one more person registered, Marshall Mednick. Are you there? Mr. Marshall Mednick.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, can you please state your name and address? We need it for the records.
Sure. Marshall Mednick, 74 Cameron Avenue.
Thank you. So tell us what's your concern about this application, and we're going to give you 5 minutes to make your presentation.
Thank you very much. I will be brief. So thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, Mr. Mednick, we hear some music at the background. Could you please make sure there is no other device open there?
Yeah, unfortunately, my son's practicing
We have
piano.
lots of music.
I will try and speak up.
No, okay. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for taking the time to hear my concerns regarding the plans of 83 Florence today. I've been a resident in the neighborhood for over 10 years. I reside at 74 Cameron Avenue. This property is, as you know, one of 2 properties under consideration to be severed into 2 lots. These lots are directly in my backyard. So my first concern is that I'm not aware of many properties being allowed to be severed into 2 lots, where one currently exists. I know there are some exceptions to the rules, but I don't believe these homes would be in line with the current character of homes in the area. There's a lot of money to be made by these developers. I believe they're making well over $1.5 million on these homes when they're by the time they're sold. And how much of that money is the city retaining? How are these severances improving the neighborhood? I just don't see how this development adds positively to the neighborhood. Secondly, I noticed the proposal is requesting 3 stories instead of 2. I did walk the neighborhood in the street, and I see 2-story homes. I don't see 3-story homes. I know it's maybe technical in nature, but Most homes have 2 stories plus a basement. So I don't think a 3-story home would be in line with the homes in the area. So I would suggest that the committee reject this minor variance request. And thirdly, in terms of the minimum lot area, the bylaw says it should be 370 meters squared. And based on my calculation, the proposal is 23% smaller than what the bylaw suggests. This doesn't seem to be minor in my opinion. I would think a 5 to 10% variant would be reasonable. Anyways, I have read the detailed city staff report, and I have to agree with the recommendations. I'm not to approve the variances or the severance. So in summary, thank you. I feel these proposals do not fall in line with the character of the neighborhood, and I hope the committee will listen to the staff report as well as Councillor John Fillion and reject this application. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Please stay right there. We may have some questions. Members, please remember we do not see you. If you have any question, please speak up.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, it's Ms. Sankar. I do have a question. Sir, what we've seen here from the study, and I know you've looked at the detailed study, it does list that, this property does not meet the prevailing character of the neighborhood. Now, I've heard the applicant say, but there are many homes that have been severed, that have gone through this, although the study itself, sometimes the area itself on the whole might have those severances, but the particular smaller region in which this house is located, or this property is located, is, that forms the character of that portion of the neighborhood. I just want to hear from you if you really, from living there for so many years, feel that this absolutely does not meet the prevailing character of the neighborhood. I'd like to hear your experience on that.
Did you hear that question? Okay.
Yes, I did hear the question.
Please go ahead.
So I live just off of Botham, and I know all the homes east of Botham. There's lots of development, and they take the 50-foot lots and they split them. But in terms of the rest of the neighborhood, the rest of the neighborhoods have it's a mixture, but I don't see a lot of 25-foot lots, 50 foots being split into 25s. I'm just not seeing. I see a few of them, and there's a couple. In fact, 3 or 4 doors on Cameron beside me, and it was a complete disaster what they did with those houses. They severed the lot. There was a tree right in the middle of the severance, and you can no longer even access the driveway because the tree's in the way. So the developer has built a retaining wall and waiting for the tree to die. And that was just one example. And if you look at the houses, they're so close together, the eaves troughs are literally on top of each other. There's so much little space in between the houses. So it's just, that particular development was a disaster in my opinion. And because you can't even, there's no parking, you can't even park, there's no driveway because of the tree. So in that case, the severance shouldn't have even happened. But I just find these narrow houses, you can barely fit through them. Obviously, fire concerns, one house catches on fire is good. There needs to be proper distance between the homes. That's one concern I have. But overall, I know maybe in some cases it makes sense, but I just don't agree with it.
Thank you. Ms. Sankar, did you hear the answer?
Yes, I did, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Any other question to this speaker here? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the other speaker here, who is Mr. Donald Logan. Are you there?
I am here.
Could you please state your name and address for the records here?
My name is Donald Logan. I live at 94 Florence Avenue.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have here, we'll give you 5 minutes here. Could you please tell us what your concern is regarding this application?
Other than the proximity of the two buildings to each other, which would be pretty narrow, again, the previous speaker just spoke to that, overlapping eaves troughs and so on and so forth. I like the idea of more houses being available, which will hopefully lower the the overall cost. In other words, make housing more available to more people. However, my concern personally is the effect upon the infrastructure, such as gas mains, water mains, sewers, and so on and so forth. And the amount of traffic which will ensue as a result of this trend. Now, I know somebody starts it and then, well, they did it, so we can do it, and it goes on like a snowball. So those are my main concerns. Julie, did you have any?
I'm overall in favor. My name is Julie Simonetti. I am
Excuse me, hold a second. Are you speaking for this application here?
I am, and I am the wife of Don Logan, who has.
Could you please state your name, Miss Logan? What's your name? First name?
My legal name is Julie Simonetti.
Okay.
For simplicity, it was registered as Julie Logan. Pardon me for that.
Thank you. Okay.
I, of course, also live, being married to Don Logan, at 94 Florence Avenue. And I am in favor of the severance for the aforementioned reason of my husband, that more properties should be made available for the next generation in particular. And if it is, and I apologize, I have not looked into the architectural merits of the property. And if it were to be, in my humble opinion, not a flat roof and not looking as commercial, it would then also blend in with the dominant architectural styles of maybe having a gable on the house. And I do not feel that the variances are significant to the point where I would want to reject it. So I am in favor of the severance.
So you're in favor, okay?
I am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, stay right there. We may have some questions. Members?
Yep.
Oh, I see you now, the members. Thank you. So, any question to this speaker here? No? Okay. All right. So we have no question for you. Thank you. Now we call back the agent, and could you please come back and respond to those concerns?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I'll just jotting down some notes myself here. Just want to make sure I get to everything. I believe the first speaker was Mr. Marshall Mednick, and I understand he lives on Cameron Avenue, which is immediately south of the property. And sir, just for your knowledge, Mr. Mednick lives on a 33-foot lot himself, which is smaller than some of the lots in the area that he did mention. So again, it speaks forward to the mixed bag of lot sizes in the area. I think some of his concerns are valid, but I think we've addressed them through design. And with respect to building separation, there's obviously building code issues as well that we would have to abide by. And what we've proposed at 0.65 meters side yard setback between the houses would ensure that we meet those building code requirements for fire separation. In addition to that, I believe he mentioned something about trees and driveway locations. In this particular application, we aren't proposing to remove the tree that's in the front yard. We're actually preserving it. And the house has been designed in a way that there is an internal garage as well as a driveway without harming any of the trees. And that's been accomplished by the way the lots have been situated on the house. So each house will have an internal garage capable of fitting a car with a legal parking space, as well as a driveway without harming any of the trees. So nobody that buys this house will be without a parking space, and they'll actually, in fact, have 2 spaces per house. I do want to speak to another issue that was brought up by one of your board members, Mrs. Zankar. She made an interesting comment about character and the particular regions within the neighborhood, and I'm trying to understand that myself. And when I read the character policies of the official plan, I don't see them pointing out specific regions or parts of a neighborhood. They do point out blocks and streets and that for character. But in response to that, I would say this, that when you look at the neighborhood as a whole, I still agree with some of the literature that has come out of the T-Lab, as well as my own analysis of the area, that this is really a mixed bag of character, lot sizes, lot frontages, lot areas. It really is a truly mixed community. So, we're right within that mix with the proposal that we have in front of you. I also want to point out that just beside Mr. Mednick are two 25-foot lots at 80 and 82 Cameron Avenue, very similar to this proposal. And then the last speaker, they broke up a bit. I think it was the Simonetti family. They were actually in favor of the application, which again speaks to the mixed bag of this community. That we've got some support, we've got some objections, which is what makes a community a community. Everybody has their say, everybody has their opinion and their desires for the community. So this really speaks to the mixture that I was just talking about. That we've got some residents that are in favor, and I think they just touched on infrastructure, which obviously city engineering would speak to a little further. But my understanding from the engineering report that there is capacity for this second house. And they also spoke about character of the style of roof. And to respond to that, and in keeping with what they said about the architectural style, we are proposing a pitched roof. So it's not a flat roof that's going to look ultra modern. It's a pitched roof with some gabling that would definitely fit within the character that they were speaking about from an architectural standpoint. So I hope I've answered all the questions in that regard. If anybody has any others, I'm happy to answer them as well.
Yes, thank you. We'll ask any. Now I see you. Anyone has any more question? Mr. Bartolo? Mr. Klassen, please go ahead.
Yes, I have a question for the speaker. And you've been very clear that your comments apply to the neighborhood. I'd just be interested to hear what you have to say about your application with respect to Florence Avenue west of Botham, because that's where the property is. So as opposed to hearing from you so broadly about the entire neighborhood, could you just speak to Florence west of Botham?
Did you hear that?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I did, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Klassen, for the question, and it is a good question. And I believe I spoke about this in a little bit of length during my presentation, that this trend of applications for 25-foot lots is slowly making its way west of Botham along Florence Avenue. You've had applications of our subject lands at 83 Florence, you've had 88 Florence, you've had 73 and 75 Florence that are coming forward very shortly. So that trend of these severances or these lot sizes is slowly making its way into the committee, and those applications will be before you in the future. So I would say that this block of Florence Avenue between Botham Road and I believe the street to the east would be Pewter, is slowly making its way west of Botham towards Pewter, the same fashion that it did east of Botham, which forced the city to undertake a city initiated zoning amendment. So I would say there's a trend starting. It's not necessarily a huge trend right now, but of the lots that are 50 feet, those applications have definitely come forward west of Botham. So the character is pushing its way in that regard, and I hope that kind of answers the question. That I would say between Pewter and Botham, there is definitely a trend starting that these 25-foot lots are going to be, appearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, if there is no question, I don't see Miss Sankar. Miss Sankar, do you hear us?
I do hear you, and I'm ready for a motion if that's okay with you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Yeah, we need a motion, please.
Yeah, I'll put forward a motion. I mean, after hearing the speakers speak, all of them, I am of the decision to look very closely at what an official study has said here, and the staff report has provided that. It also is, it concurs with one of the residents that actually live there, giving that as an example in terms of the character of this specific area within the neighborhood. And just to hear the speaker, the applicant, say that it is a slow transition also further, emphasizes the point that staff has made. So for that reason, I'll put forward a motion to refuse this application.
Thank you. Ms. Sankar to refuse. Second. I don't see, could you please speak up because I don't.
I would second that, Mr. Chair.
Mr.
It's Mr. Klassen.
Mr. Klassen, second. Thank you. All in favor?
In favor?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm in favor.
Opposed? Anyone opposing?
Opposed.
Mr. Bartolo opposing. Okay, sir, your application is refused. Okay. Sorry.
Thank you.
Application number 3, which is 147 Dawlish Avenue. And here we have 4 speakers, the agent and 3 more. Mr. Maher Manios, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Maher Manios, I'm the agent.
Yeah, could you please, for the records, we need you to state your name and address, please.
Sure, it's Maher Manios from Monarch Design, number 1 Teakwood Grove, Toronto.
Thank you. For the members and the staff we have here, we have to construct a new dwelling, 6 variances. We have 13 letters of opposition, and forestry number 2. So, Mr. Manios, can you please make a presentation here, and we give you the 5 minutes to tell us what is the merit of your application?
Sure, love to. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, we're proposing a new detached dwelling to replace the existing one. We are requesting 6 variances. I'm just going to do a quick summary of the variances. We had submitted by email last week a slight revision to the application. And so part of it is variances 1 and 6, which is regarding height under the new bylaw and the old bylaw. We reduced it to 10.26 for the new bylaw and 10.44 under the old bylaw versus the allowable 1 meter required setback. I just want to bring your attention that this variance is only to the westerly portion of the house. The easterly portion complies with the height requirement. And we also provide, as part of the supporting material, a streetscape to show how the proposed house relates to 2 adjoining houses and also to the house across the road. We're actually lower than, about 1 meter lower than the west house, and substantially lower than the house across the road. And the reason I know about this is because I was involved with both houses. And this is also in keeping with what's been approved in the neighborhood. And I've given you a list of former approvals. Variance number 2, I just refer you to the site plan. This variance is strictly almost a technical nature. The proposal is for 18.9 versus the 17 meter allowable. The reason for the variance is because the 1-story portion at the back, which is sort of like an number 8 shape, exceeds half the width of the house. It complies with side yard setback. It complies with the overall, actually it's less than the overall depth of 19 meter. It's just over 4 meter high versus the allowable 5 meter. The only reason for the variance is because it's more than half the width of the house. On the easterly portion of the house, actually the 2-story portion is 15.2 meters. And then we have the 1.8 meter. So when you add the 2 together, it doesn't even reach the allowable 17 meter requirement. There's a dimension on the top of this site plan. It shows the actual breakdown of the 2-story portion versus the 1-story portion, which basically emphasizes the point that it does comply. It's just the fact that the 1-story portion at the back is more than half the width of the house. And I'd like to bring it to your attention as well, Mr. Chair. Although we do comply with depth, this is an extra deep plot at 50.75 versus your typical Lawrence Park home lots, which are 45 meter. Variance number 3, which is FSI being 0.59 versus the allowable 0.35. The 2-story portion of the house is actually at 0.51, which is well in keeping with all previous decisions being made in the neighborhood. And the rest of the FSI is contained within the attic space, which brings it up to the 0.59. There's a similar example of this. I provided a picture of a house at number 109 DAWLISH, which had something similar, but with an FSI of 0.63. Variances 4 and 5 are the side yard setback. we're proposing 1.22 meters just for the front portion of the house on the east and the west. The back portion of the house past the garage is actually set back 1.52 meters minimum, and it actually steps in further on the west side. The reason for the variance is that we need the extra width to accommodate the allowable two-car garage, which is allowed for properties which are wider than 12-meter frontage. I bring to your attention as well is have been a tremendous number of variances similar, but there would have been even more if it wasn't for the fact that the former bylaw 438, the standards were 0.9 meters. So this would have been completely in compliance with the previous bylaw. The 1.2 meter has been an acceptable setback for properties which are 15-meter frontage. There has been some issues raised by the neighbors about drainage and what have you. The zoning bylaw does not dictate any standards for landscaping on the side yards of houses, although this on the east side, we're proposing a completely permeable paver stepping stones towards the back, whereas the existing house has a solid asphalt driveway, which I assume led to a detached garage in the past. I think I've got just another half a minute to go, but I did read through all the letters of opposition. I'm not sure if it suits the chair. I can either address them now or wait until the neighbors speak, and then I can address them all at the same time. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Thanks for keeping track of the clock. Okay, we have the next speaker is Nigel Hodges. Are you there?
Yes, I am there. Thank you.
Could you please state your name and address that we need for the records here?
Yes, my name is Nigel Hodges and I live at 151 DAWLISH Avenue. That is the house immediately to the east of the subject.
Thank you. So you'll have 5 minutes if you want to take all of it to tell us what's your concern about this application.
Thank you. My concern is that the lack of width, which is now at the front, originally it was going to be all along, the separation of the houses, because I have the disadvantage that my house is land is slightly lower than number 147, so I do suffer from drainage problems, which I've had to solve previously in my ownership of this house. And so I would like to see it respect the bylaw completely in that regard. I would also note that I will be considerably more in the shade because of the size and mass of this house than I am currently, but except that if it's in the bylaw, there's probably nothing I can do about that. Although the roof line on the east side is within the rules, the west side is not, and it will look much more massive than many of the other houses in the neighborhood, because their roof lines are pointed and this will be sort of flat along the middle of the house. Thank you.
That's it. Okay, you mentioned the slope and the sun and all that stuff. Now, if you were to change the variances, which variance would it be really would satisfy you?
Well, if all of the house could be set back sort of 1.5 meters on the east side.
Yeah, you're talking about the setback. The setback as the.
So that's number 4, I believe, or is it 5?
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's instead of 1.5, he's asking for 1.22, and in one case, he was only for a portion of the garage, but not the rest. That's not your side, is it?
Yeah. That is my side.
Okay, so that's only for a portion of the building. But anyways, we'll see what the members are saying. Members, again, I don't see you. Could you please, if you want to speak, could you please just speak up because we don't see your faces? Any question to this gentleman who is from 151 Dawlish Avenue? No? Okay. Okay, we don't have any question for you so far. We'll get to the next speaker.
Mr. Chair, the next speaker, David McDougall, is not present on the call.
Okay, so we'll eliminate that. And we'll go to the next one, who is Lutz Fulgraf. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. Lutz Fulgraf, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you please state your name and address?
Sure. My name is Lutz Fulgraf. I live at 23 Stratheden Road, and I'm the chairman of the Development Committee for the Lawrence Park Ratepayers Association, for who I am speaking here.
Very good. So tell us what is the concern about this application.
Okay. First of all, the lot on which the new building is proposed to be built is slightly over the normal size of Lawrence Park lots. So the normal Lawrence Park lot is about 677.5 square meters in area, whereas this lot has an area of 773.8 square meters, about 100 square meters more. It is already a little wider than the standard lot. It's 15.24 meters wide instead of 15 meters wide. And yet it is not big enough to accommodate the plans of the applicant. Mahir, Manus, and Manak Design have been active in this area and know the area well. They are experienced builders. They build beautiful houses. Unfortunately, they always seem to be a little bit too big for the lots that are chosen. This is not an exception. I mean, the main concern from a neighborhood point of view is the width of the building, because it takes away some of the privacy. It creates some noise issues. Usually it prevents equipment to be brought into the backyard if, for example, a tree has to be cut down. It also creates some issues for water runoff. I'm happy to hear that there's permeable coverage on one side of the house, but maybe not on the other. That all those issues are of concern for the neighborhood, which is already prone to water issues, sometimes even basement floodings, because the drainage in the streets is old and not big enough to handle the runoff when there is a strong rainstorm or when there is meltwater. So those are the major concerns. I'm not quite sure whether I understood Mahir's original comments on the length of the building, where he said that is really a very minor issue. I understand the plans, and I understand that the extension in the back is only for part of the building, but it sounded a little bit like the building measurements of the city, which asked for a variance for the 18.9 meter in length, were incorrect. I mean, if that is the case, then I can't see that on the plans. Maybe Mahir can comment on that when he gets back on. Because according to the plans, the building is 18.9 meters long, where only 17 meters are allowed, and that is a variance that apparently the neighbors are objecting to. The height, I understand and appreciate that the original plans have been adjusted a little bit, but the same is true for the side yards, where it has been adjusted from a full length side yard reduction to just sort of a half length side yard reduction. But all the issues about water, about bringing equipment into the backyard, they are still blocked by the extension into the side yard as it is written into the bylaws. So I don't really see that as an enormous improvement. I mean, you can always make a plan that is offensive and then reduce it a little bit. That makes it look a little better, but it doesn't really do away with the issues. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you for letting me speak. So I hope I've made my points. If you have any questions, by all means.
Thank you very much. Just wait a second. I'll ask the members if they have any question. Members, do you have any question? And again, we don't see you. If you want any question, please speak up. No? Okay, there is no question. So I'll call back the agent. Mr. Manios, could you come back, please?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so
So I'll
please
start with
address those concerns. And you heard the last speaker, they have concern about variance number 2, which is the length 17 as compared to 18.9 and the other one. So please address those concerns, and I'll give you another 5 minutes to address those concerns.
Okay, I'll start with the building length. There is no mistake in the variance. The variance is correct, but it's what I tried to explain earlier. It's actually technical in nature. Is you're allowed to build a 17-meter deep house, 2-story or 3-story, plus a 1-story extension at the back, which projects another 2 meters to give you a total depth of 19 meters. That's basically what we have. But in order, there's 4 provisos for that 1-story extension. Is it has to be no more than 2-meter projection, half the width of the house, a certain height, and a certain setback. We comply with 3 of them. The one we don't comply with is half the width of the house. So we do require a variance because it's more than half. But the actual 2-story portion of the house, if, as I mentioned earlier, when you refer to the site plan, there's a dimension of 16.69, which is the depth of the 2-story portion. Then there's a 1-story portion beyond that. The total of both of them is 18.9, which is less than the allowable 19 meters. But the variance is required because of the 1-story portion exceeding half the width of the house. So yes, we are exceeding, but the total depth complies with the 19-meter depth of the house. Hence, there's no depth variance, as you can see in the notice. Regarding the side yard setback, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the bylaw standard for Lawrence Park, where the majority of the houses in the former Toronto portion of Lawrence Park have been built under the requirement of the 0.9 meters. When the new bylaw came out in 2013, they changed that to 1.5. This is, we're not dealing here with, like, for example, the property to the west of us is a 100-foot lot. This lot is not larger than the standard. Your standard Lawrence Park lot is, the majority of them are 50 by 150, which is, this lot is 50-foot frontage, which is the same as the majority of the lots on this street, with the exception of a few double lots, like the one next door. But it's actually a very deep lot. The setback is, as I mentioned, is to accommodate a 2-car garage. Hence, we only have the setback at the front of the house at 1.2 meters, and then it jogs into 1.53 meters past the garage. And that's just to give us that extra breathing space to be able to fit the garage. Regarding the east neighbor and the issue with height and the side yard setback, yes, it is permeable on his side. We're going to go with permeable pavers, and on the other side, which we're not using for access, is completely permeable. So there shouldn't be any drainage issue. I think it should be an improvement because we're going to eliminate the asphalt driveway that's there right now. Additionally, we were conscious of the fact that his is an older house, hence it has lower roof line. So the wall height, although it's not a variance, on the east side, we went with 6.7 meter versus the 7.5 meter we have for the rest of the house. So the portion that's in variance is actually 6.7 meter instead of 7.5. There is no roof height on the east side. It's just strictly on the west side. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't want to keep going on and on about the same thing.
Thank you. So we'll see if there is any question. Members, if you have any question, please speak up. Again, we still don't hear you. We don't see you, I'm sorry. No questions? Okay, so can I have a motion then?
Through you, Mr. Chair, this is Ms. Sankar. I'm willing to accept the explanations provided by the applicant here today. And for that reason, I'll put forward a motion to approve this application subject to forestry.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Second.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, I just want to mention that the applicant already reduced the height for variance number 1 and 6, as far as I remember. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Is that a question? The number 1 and 6? What's about them?
Question is that applicant reduced the height of the building. The variance numbers 1 and 6 have been reduced by the applicant just correct me if I'm wrong.
Mr. Manios, she's asking if the
Yeah.
one that you're submitting has been reduced. They're 10 meters
Yes.
required. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So variance number 1, as per their email that we sent last week, was reduced from 10.57 to 10.26. And accordingly, variance number 6 was reduced from 10.74 to, just bear with me, to 10.44.
10.44. Good question, Ms. Atarodi. Thank you. Okay, yeah, so.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion again to approve it with the amendments made by the applicant here today and subject to forestry.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. And a second now?
And through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to second the motion and also would like to see if Madam Sankara accept that we tie it to the site plan as a friendly amendment.
Ms. Sankar, you're okay?
Sure, I accept.
You're okay.
Okay,
Very good. That's a good, yeah. It's a good one because it's that's the sketch there. Okay, so we have Ms. Sankar and Ms. Atarodi second, and all in favor. Could you please speak up?
I'm in favor. It's Mr. Klassen.
Thank you, Mr.
Ms.
Klassen
Bartolo in favor.
and Mr. Bartolo. Thank you. Okay, so your application is unanimously approved with those changes. To the first is 0.26, change the building length and the building height, and the last one, number 6, change to 1044 and is subject to forestry and tie it to the site plan as it mentioned in the motion. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, member of the committee.
You're welcome. We're in application number 4, which is STONEDENE Boulevard, and we have here 3 people registered, the agent and 2 more speakers. Mr. Ali Pashandijay, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, can you please state your name and address for the records, please?
Yes, my name is Ali Pasandide. I'm an agent for the client for 12 STONEDENE Boulevard.
Okay, so you'll have here we have just to build in addition to the north portion of the existing dwelling, we have one variance and 0.89 instead of 1.8. So we'll give you the 5 minutes and tell us what the merit of your application before we get the other speakers.
Thank you, sir. So the thing is, there is an existing garage already in the 0.89, and we are just building on top of the existing garage that is not following the setback. So, I mean, we cannot demolish the garage, but we are building on top of that one, so we want to just get this one resolved. It is approved for that reason. I don't think I have any other explanation for that one.
If you can a little bit speak up, please, we don't hear you clearly.
Okay. I said because of there is an existing garage that obviously is not following the setback, and we are building on top of the existing garage. So we are not encroaching to the setback. We are just following what was there before. So I think that's the only explanation that we have for that matter. So
okay.
I think you can.
All right. You can say only so much about one variance, right? Okay, so let's see.
Yes.
Are you finished, Mr.
Yes, yes, sir.
Asadidi? Okay. Any question for this gentleman here? One variance, and we have 2 more speakers here.
Mr. Chair, as a note, Sharon Bart is not present on the call.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so we'll get the other person, and then we'll come back to you, Mr. Pasadide, okay? Mr. Joseph Goldberg, Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Could you please tell us your name
So
and
we-
address?
My name is Joseph Goldberg. I live at 14 STONEDENE Boulevard.
Okay, and please tell us what's your concern. And we usually give 5 minutes to people to speak up.
Sure. So first, I'm a little confused by this because the building is already built, and as far as I can tell, the request for the variance has been already constructed. So I had not heard of this variance previously. I'm not aware of any requests that has been made prior to this one, but again, the building has been constructed and as far as I know has been sold. But my concern here is that the properties are very, very close together. If you look at the plan, you can see that the driveways actually overlap as they get close. And I guess my concern is that this was built before an approval or before this variance was approved.
Okay, are you finished? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, my comment on that one is that this committee does not police the area. They can do anything they want, but they come here for the variance. And if we approve it, it's okay. If we don't approve it, it's up to the person either to demolish it or go back to or appeal it. But we don't, we look at the variance in front of us. If he didn't have this here, he won't be here. So we have one variance, and let's see, any question for this gentleman here, Mr. Joseph Goldberg? All his issue that he was built before. So,
So if I may,
hold a second.
so
Who's speaking? Who's speaking now?
sorry, this is Joseph Goldberg again.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
So my concern with the variance request is that it is it's half of what the distance to the property line was in the past. And again, as these properties are very close together, there certainly is, I mean, there's other concerns regarding the proximity of the properties, but there's very little distance between them as it is. And I would request that
Yeah. So you're not
that this
supporting.
variance not be approved.
Very good.
Yes,
So
correct.
okay. So you're against the variance. Okay. So let's see.
Yes.
There was no more question to you. So we'll get back Mr. Pasadide. Mr. Pasadide, could you please respond to that concern that the variance is to? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The thing is, I respect what Mr. Goldberg says.
And again, if you can please speak up because we don't hear you clearly.
Okay. With respect, with the whatever Mr. Goldberg said that the properties are close to each other, I agree on that one. But we are not changing because it's already garage there that is close to that one. So we are just building on top of the garage. So we are not adding anything, or we are not coming closer to what it was before. There is existing condition and we are just adding on top of that one.
Okay.
We are not changing anything to be closer or further or whatever.
Okay, that's it. So we'll see if the members have any question to this. Oh, now I see you. Any question to this speaker here, to the applicant? It's one variance. No? Can I have? If not, can I have a motion, please? Mr. Bartolo, you're scratching your head. Okay, Mr. Bartolo, go ahead.
I'll put forward a motion there, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Given that the existing condition of the garage already encroaches into the setback and the applicant is just building on top of it and not encroaching further, I will put forward a motion to approve this application.
Thank you. Second? Ms. Sankar, second. All in favor? Okay. Your application is unanimously approved.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, all the committee.
Okay. Application number 5, which is 310 Wilson Avenue, 310 Wilson Avenue. And we have here Murugapudab, Visaki Murugapupat. Are you there?
Hello, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm here for 310 Wilson Avenue.
Okay, can you please just repeat your name, address, and your name and address for the record?
Yes, it's Visaki Murugapupathy for 310 Wilson Avenue.
Okay, well, just a second, we'll see for what we have here. We have to convert existing commercial residential building, the main floor and basement, into a dental office. The transportation recommends the deferral for the application to allow you to address the concern, their concern. Are you in favor of deferring the application?
I'm not in favor of deferring that. I'm not in favor of deferring it at this point.
They recommend deferral. We'll see what the members are saying. Okay, generally we won't need the presentation, but because of this, maybe you can give us a short presentation. I'll give you up to 5 minutes and tell us what's the merit of your application.
Okay. So I would like to reference the document titled Supporting Material posted on February 8th to address the discrepancy in parking availability. It'd be great if it can be pulled up. So this map here shows paid and free parking options in the vicinity of 310 Wilson Avenue. And as you can see, there's four immediate parking options. So Exhibit A is green fee parking available directly in front of 310 Wilson Avenue. Exhibit B, which is located opposite to 310 Wilson Avenue at a 1-minute walk away. So if you can just scroll down a little bit, is Smart Parking Solutions. It is a parking lot that has 90 parking spots available and does offer weekly and monthly permits. And as an option to our patients, we will be making arrangements to reimburse their parking fees. The next option for parking is Artington Boulevard, again, another 1-minute walk away that offers paid parking and free weekday evening and free weekend parking options. The last option here is Exhibit D, which is the rear of the property that currently has tandem parking arrangement. The goal here is you can just scroll down. The goal is to convert that parking space into a parallel arrangement in cooperation with our neighbors. And this is inspired by that second picture, which is parallel parking that has already been established by our neighbors at 302 Wilson Avenue. Secondly, our neighbor, Danilo Hernandez at 312 Wilson Avenue, the Harina Bake Shop, has provided one parking spot. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Finished? Okay, well.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, they had two questions and they needed a response. Why couldn't you discuss it with them and answer the two concerns they have, and then they will not need deferral? So you saw the two questions they asked, right?
Yes, so we only received the transportation report on February 4th, and that was also the last day for us to submit any further documentation. So we just did not receive time to address those directly with them.
Okay, so we don't have any other person here registered. We'll see what the members are saying. The members, any question, Ms. Sankar? Go ahead.
No, there's no questions. I think the question you had answered, you had asked actually, Mr. Chair. So I was ready for a motion, but
please go ahead.
If there's any other questions. Okay,
sorry, just a second. Anybody else for a question? No. Okay, go ahead, please.
This application to me is very clear in terms of what was requested of transportation. Two options were provided, and you were given the opportunity to defer this application. You said you wanted it to be heard. The explanations you provided did not satisfy me that parking and even any of the agreements for which you have, it's just verbal, there's no proof of that. And I have no understanding that that actually satisfies the real tangible concerns of parking and transportation. So I will have to move to refuse this application.
Thank you, Ms. Sankar. Second? No second? Okay, the motion failed. Can I have another motion, please? Ms. Atarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to defer this application so the applicant have an opportunity to submit their material to transportation.
Sine die, yeah?
Sine die.
Thank you. Second? I see Mr. Bartolo. Second, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, Mr. Klassen and Ms. Sankar opposing the deferral, and we have two here. So I'll vote for the motion and to defer the application, and that is in line with the thing. And also, if it has to be refused later on, that's to be it. So we defer the application, sine die, to allow the applicant to address the concerns of transportation. Okay.
Mr. Chair, just have a question here. What is the
Who's that?
possibility
No,
of
I'm sorry. Once it's approved, we cannot discuss it anymore. So
okay.
No, yeah, it's deferred sine die. Any problem, you have to check it with the staff. Okay.
Mr. Chair and members, the agent, just reach out to your application technician with any questions you have going forward.
Who's that? Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to us. Okay, application number 6. Application number 6, which is 46 Grove Park Crescent. Application number 6. We have here only one speaker, Akram Hanna. Are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Akram Hanna.
Your address, please.
1160 Blair Road Street in Burlington.
Thank you. Okay, you have here a new dwelling, 2 variances. The staff report reduced number 1 and reduce lot coverage. Did you see that?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, reduce lot coverage and from 34 to 32, under 32, no more than 32. Do you want to reduce it before we move to the members?
No, sir.
No, okay.
If it's possible, I would like to attend.
Okay, you don't want to remove it. Okay. Members, we have here just one speaker. There is no other one. In light of this, maybe could you make a short presentation, please?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. Thanks for the committee for hearing us today. It's much appreciated. My name is Akram Hanna, and I'm representing Kiru and Marina, the homeowner of 46 Grove Park. If you please just can bring the PowerPoint presentation that I submitted to the screen, please.
Keep going with your presentation, sir. The presentation will be on the screen.
Sure, thank you. Just a brief, quick introduction about the homeowners who build their own house. The homeowners of this subject property are pharmacists who are privileged to serve the community in North York for almost 7 years and decided to build their own home, own dream home. That is the family home investment, close to their work with their 2 children and their parents. So the big picture of this application is that with the situation now, they have decided, or they're looking to expand the home size for future, to give their family a bit more space, thinking of the kids might be studying from home later on, with the parents tend to be staying at home more than before. And just a quick glance
Sir,
at
you have
the
the
house
screen.
design.
The screen you asked for is on now.
Sure, yeah. If you can slide a little bit to number 7, please. Slide number 7. Like we have shown the survey plan. If I can walk through this presentation, this is a survey plan. And just briefly, this one shows the existing setbacks from both sides, 1.5 meter, and the other side is 1.65 meter. That's the existing house. The next slide, please. Yeah, those are the variants we're looking for, we're seeking. And the next slide, which can show the site plan that we submitted along with the zoning information matrix. If you can see, like, you can clearly see that we're basically met all the zoning bylaws requirements related to the front, rear, and side yards setbacks, building height, finished floor elevation, etc., with the only exception which we are seeking variance for today is the coverage area. Current house side yards, as I said, now currently it's 1.5 and 1.6. From the other side, we're maintaining it to 1.8 meter, which is the current zoning bylaw call for. We've worked extensively with Ms. Taibi, the zoning examiner, a few revisions back and forth to satisfy the other recommendation. To eliminate other variances, which we did, and we're here today just for this minor variance. One of the architecture design character we've done was that to step back the second floor on the top of the garage. You can see this on slide number 13, the west elevation. We try to work to enhance the front facade and to make to be on the street character to avoid massing the look of the new building. We are seeking here 2 minor variances. The first is for a bit larger coverage area, and the second one is related to the coverage for the depth of the building. We prefer not to extend through the setbacks, but to maintain it for the neighbors. Don't encroach into it, and we maintained what the zoning bylaws call for, but we extended the building 0.77 meter to the back, just to fit all the room sizes that we're looking, the homeowner looking for. What we believe here is our request for this variance. It's only one variance. We didn't ask for anything else. We try to maintain everything work there for my client. And we can see those variances are modest and in line with the new houses in the neighborhood character by maintaining the front setbacks to 7.7 meter, maintaining the landscape front and back, maintaining all the trees in the area and vegetation. So our main concern is that if the committee find our request for this only coverage very reasonable, and just to hint that it's not unprecedented in the area, as shown briefly on the last slide on my presentation, I just would try to go through everything that we worked with, which we followed and met, except our request for today. So we've worked carefully to meet all these other zoning bylaws, and I hope the committee members find our presentation application satisfactory, and that I'll be more than happy to answer any question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so your two variances remain as is. 30%, you have 34.58, and instead of 17, you have 17.77. You're not changing anything, right?
Right, sir.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Any question to this gentleman, because we have no other speaker here? In light of the staff reporting, we gave him a chance to explain. So please see if you have any question. Mr. Bartolo, did you put your hand? No? No. Okay. All right. So if there is no question, I need a motion, please. Ms. Sankar, I saw your hands here. Are you?
No, I just saw Mr. Bartolo put his up first, so I want to
I don't
offer
see-
him
I-
the
yeah.
opportunity.
Mr. Bartolo, did you?
Sure, I'll put forward a motion.
Please,
Uh,
please. By the
through
way,
you,
Mr.
Chair, I'll
Bartolo, we don't see your hands because of the screen there, so that.
Okay, seems to go in and out, so I'll speak up. In the
Okay.
future. So I'll put forward a motion to approve this application subject to the conditions noted in the forestry memo.
Thank you. Second. Ms. Sankar, all in favor? All in favor?
I'm in favor. Yes.
Okay, 2. Opposed? Okay, 2 opposing and 2 yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can you please state who's opposed?
Yeah, Miss Sankar and Mr. Klassen. Mr.
No, I miss Atarodi.
I'm sorry,
I
Ms. Atarodi, yeah, Ms. Atarodi and Mr. Klassen opposing the application, which is moved to approve by Ms. Sankar and Mr. Bartolo. Mr. Bartolo moved and Ms. Sankar seconded. So, yeah, in this region, I hate to see the 34.58. Okay, I'll move with the I'll oppose the application and see if I have another application from the opposing party. So Miss Atarodi or Mr. Klassen, do you have any other one? Miss Atarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with following changes: that the proposed lot coverage to be reduced to 32% and also subjected to forestry.
Thank you. Do you have a second? Mr. Klassen, all in favor? Still 2. Oh, Mr. Bartolo, are you in favor? Thank you. Opposed?
Yes.
Ms. Sankar opposing. Mr. Bartolo, are you opposing or you're for the motion?
I'm for the motion.
For the motion. Thank you. So your application is approved, subject to the change of 34.58 to 32% and subject to forestry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Application number 7, which is 78 Willowbank Boulevard. Application number 7. So application number 7, we have just one speaker. Mr. Giancarlo, are you there? Tari.
I am here. Good morning, Chair and committee
Good morning.
members.
Yeah, good. Please just tell us your name and your address for the records here.
Yes, I am John Carlo Tari. Address is 180 Sheldon Drive in Cambridge, Ontario.
Thank you.
I am the agent. Thank you.
Just hold on. Just hold on.
Yes.
Okay, we have your name and address. We have just one rear one story with one variance. I'll ask the members, do we need the presentation? No? Okay, Mr. Giancarlo, we
you.
don't need the presentation. We just want to ask you,
Wonderful.
did you want to say something to the committee before we move to the decision?
I feel like we have an easy one today. I'll lay it in the hands of your committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I will move to approve the application.
Thank you. There is no condition. Second, Ms.
I'll
Satarodi.
second it.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, your application is unanimously approved. Application number 8, which is MYLESVIEW Place, and we have here Two speakers, the agent, and one more speaker. Mr. Rubinoff, are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Can you please just tell us your name and address?
Yes, it's Glenn Rubinoff, 18 Gloucester Grove, Toronto.
Thank you. So we have here one more speaker. So we'd like you to make a short presentation. You have here to build a new detached dwelling, 11 variances. The staff report has a condition to develop in accordance with the site plan. Transportation, no objection. TRCA, no impact, no objection. And one letter of concern, objection. So could you please make a short presentation? I'll give you 5 minutes and start it now.
Thank you very much. Good morning, committee members. This is an application that we've been in discussions with planning and conservation. We've had several site meetings. We've had basically a lot of input from different departments, different people, and happy to say that we've satisfied their concerns. Basically, there's a 10-meter top of bank setback to the building required, and we meet that requirement effectively. So we've met all the requirements of conservation, but as a result, it shifted the building a little bit forward, which is why we have the variances before you today for front yard setback. You also note that transportation has no concern with regards to this application. We basically did our homework to try to make the impact, as small as possible. We do leave the backyard. I don't know that that's the current one. You must have a more updated site plan. If you could have is that, I'm just trying to see if that's the correct one. Well, it might be. Is that, no, it looks like it's there's a more up-to-date site plan that was submitted, which you have it from dated January 18th. Anyways, this application, we revised the driveway, we revised a number of things. We're preserving trees, we're minimizing impact to the backyard. The house itself has a driveway which enters from the side as opposed to facing the street. If you look at the front elevation, it's we tried to make it attractive. It's on a street which is kind of what I would call a dead end, kind of end of the edge of the neighborhood, and it's I believe that it doesn't have a lot of impact on the other neighbors. I did read the letter of concern. It was also somewhat of a letter of support in the fact that my client met with them and they came to an agreement over allowing the neighbors to do some plantings in that area around the garage. So we're certainly aware of the concerns, but my clients made efforts to minimize impact on the site, but also to make sure that any concerns have been addressed. The other variances are, some of them are technical based on the shape of the lot, but I feel that city planning had, like I said, we had meetings with them, several meetings with them, and they, at the end, were satisfied with the adjustments that we made with regards to the setbacks. Thank you very much.
Okay, now when you said you satisfied their concern, we'll hear from the speaker here from 4 MYLESVIEW. If I recall in his letter, he mentioned something that you made already arrangements with them.
That's correct. Yes.
So you're not changing.
There is. Yeah. No, we're not. We understand and agree with what he's requesting.
Okay. So he still want to speak. Okay. We'll bring the speaker back. Here now we have Mr. Robert Douglas. Are you there?
Yes, my name is Robert Peck. I live at 4 MYLESVIEW, immediately north of number 6.
Okay.
And
so please tell us what's your concern, and we give you 5 minutes.
Yeah,
okay?
I can do that, sir, quite shortly. Could you put up number 3 of 4 of the documents that I submitted? And you will see where the corner of the existing garage is now. There's an arrow there. And the concern was that The garage is moving towards the street. And it's also, instead of a relatively low 1-story with a low roof, it's going to be 2 stories. It's going to be quite high. And our front door is over there where the little notch is, if you like. And we're concerned that we're going to be closed in. We'll lose quite a bit of sunlight in the morning, and it gets quite narrow. And if you will put up number 4, I can show the next page. I can show you what my neighbor agreed to do when I told him that I had an objection, and he asked what it was. I said, we would like the setback, which instead of 1.8 is 1.52 or something. We would like where that setback is to the east of our house. We would just like it left open, and we've agreed that we'll plant some indigenous plants, and that will open up our place. We're also going to cut down the fence. It's quite a wide fence and a very high fence. Quite frankly, it's about 8 feet high. And it was planted in '94 when we built our house, and it's at the end of its useful life. There's lots of holes in it. And I think with the agreement that we've made, I just like that noted on the decision that the applicant agreed to keep that land with a setback open for small plantings. And quite frankly, with that and the removal of the hedge, I think the whole house, the whole street's going to look better. And I know there's 9 or 10 variances or whatever, but given the size and shape of the lot and all the rest of it, frankly, I think it's quite reasonable. So we're in support. We just would like it noted that there's an agreement to keep that setback open. Thank you.
Okay, any question to this gentleman? He's not asking any variance, just some private agreement they made. So, okay, so we'll bring back the agent, Mr. Robinov.
Yes, just quickly, we concur with what the neighbor said, that there's an agreement in place to open up the space to allow for some plantings and open up the area, and we have no objection to that, and we appreciate his comments.
Okay, so that does not affect any variance, right?
No.
Okay,
no.
Thank you. Any question for the speaker? Mr. Tarodi, go ahead, please.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I have a question for Mr. Robinov. He mentioned that he updated the site plan and submitted to the city, and he also revised, if I'm not wrong, the driveway and everything. So as a result of those changes, does those changes affect any of those variants which are before us?
No, they've already been updated. These changes were made and submitted to the planner first, who agreed with them, and then we submitted them back. So the variances as presented are the correct variances. That's
As
correct.
a result. Okay, thank you. Any other question? If not, can I have a motion, please? Ms. Sankar, go ahead, please.
I accept the explanations and the support of the speakers and the applicant here today. I'll put forward a motion to approve this application and make it subject to the February 1st staff report, in that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan drawing submitted to the committee, received on January 15th. Thank you.
Thank you. Second. Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Okay, unanimously. Mr. Robinov, unanimously approved the application, subject to the staff condition to develop an.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the neighbor as well.
Okay.
Take care.
Number 9, which is 150 Montgomery Avenue. And we have here just one speaker, who is the agent. Mr. Ken Tai, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm Ken Tai, I'm here.
And your address, please, tell us your address.
Yeah, my name is Ken Tai from Tai Architect. Address is 12 Rosemount Avenue.
Thank you.
Markham.
Thank you. We have here to enclose the existing covered porch, 3 variances, and We don't have any other speaker. Members, do we need a presentation? No? Okay. Any question? Okay, so Mr. I think we don't need any presentation. Did you want to say anything to the committee?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, so can I have a motion, please? Ms. Santa Rosi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
No condition. Thank you. Second? Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Okay, your application is unanimously approved, okay?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee.
Number 10, which is 981 Briar Avenue. And also, Mr. We have here, no, we have Barbara Freeman. Miss Barbara, are you there, Miss Freeman?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm here.
Could you please just repeat your name and address for the records we need here?
My name is Barbara Freeman, and I'm the homeowner of 981
Yeah,
Briar
make
Hill.
sure, please, you don't have any too many devices open. And
I don't. Yeah.
okay, so this is to build in addition to the rear existing dwelling. We have two variances. Staff report, the 2490 is a condition. Did you read the condition? Of the
Yes,
staff?
I know.
Okay, just the length of the 2493 covers a certain element there. And
Right,
we-
so my,
okay, all right, so
Sure.
we'll just see here, we don't have any other speaker. I'll ask the members, do we need any presentation? No? Okay, we don't need any presentation. Did you want to say something to the committee before we move on?
I just wanted to confirm that the design is only 16.55 meters
Okay,
of the proposed building with the addition.
okay. Okay, you're not.
There's an
changing-
existing garage, and that's why it's showing that it's longer.
Right, right. That's why there is the condition there to cover the, it said here.
Right, but the garage is detached,
Right.
and it's remaining detached.
Right, right. And you're okay with the condition there, huh?
Yeah, the maximum permitted building length is 17 meters, and we're at 16.55.
Okay. Any question to this, motion? Ms. Sankar?
Yes, I can make a motion through you, Mr. Chair. I'll make a motion to approve this application. I'll make it subject, it meets the requirements anyway, but I'll make it subject to the January 21st staff report in that the 24.93 meter length includes the building and the rear detached garage, which is closer than 1.8 meters to the building wall. That motion, that
Your motion.
condition, okay?
Okay. And second, can I have second, please? Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Okay. Ms. Freeman, your application is unanimously approved, subject to that condition.
Thank you.
Application number 11, which is 22 Fairhail Crescent. We have here just one speaker who's the agent. Michael Matsoris, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you please state your name and address for the record here?
My name is Michael Mansoris, 79 Hallandale Avenue, Toronto.
Thank you. We don't have any other speaker here. This is to construct an attached garage to the dwelling to replace the existing carport. Just one variance. Members, do we need any presentation? No? Okay. So, Mr. Mansoris, there is no, we don't need any presentation. Did you want to say something to the committee?
No, I appreciate
No.
that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So can I have a motion, please? Ms. Sankar, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, through you, I think these are simpler ones that are coming our way, and I don't see any problems to hold it back. I think it meets the four tests. I'll motion to approve this application.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Atarodi, all in favor? Okay, unanimously approved.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair? Would it be possible that, no, I just have another request. Would it be possible that we get a short break?
Yeah, that's what okay. We'll have a short break. How short? 5-10 minutes? Okay, we'll have a 10 minutes break, okay? Perfect. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're resuming the session here. Members, if you want to join, we're resuming the session, please. You're the only one. Members, okay, thank you. Where's the other two? Okay, all right, so now okay, welcome back. We resume the session here, and the next item is number 12, which is 367 Blythwood Road. And we have two speakers, the agent and one more. Mr. Richard Librack, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Sure. Richard Librack, architect. I'm here for the agent. My address is 3414 Young Street.
Thank you. So we have here to construct a front and yard addition and second floor above the existing dwelling and new addition. We have 17 variances. TRCA, no objection, no permits. Staff report has 6 recommendations and changes. And we have here 2 letters of support and forestry condition number 3. Mr. Librack, would you like to start with the presentation? And we give you 5 minutes and tell us the merit of your application and see what you're saying about the staff report.
Sure. I'm aware of the staff report, and I actually agree with much of what they're recommending. But thank you for the opportunity, and good afternoon, committee. The proposal here, as you said, is really a bunch of additions to an existing home and to maintain the existing foundation on a very difficult condition vis-a-vis the proximity of the existing house with respect to its neighbors. So it was decided the rationale for the project was to maintain the foundation, to avoid all kinds of shoring and so on, again, because of proximity and because of the overhangs and the very close relationship of the corners of the house at the northwest of 0.51 meters, at the on the east side 0.52, and again 0.45, very close to the existing side yards. The lot is very irregular in shape, and so it was my suggestion to the owner that the best way to handle a second-story addition and to address water concerns was to not take it to the sides, but rather to the back through a flat roof proposal. The proposal is pretty self-explanatory. However, I have a couple of points I'd like to highlight. One is, as you mentioned, TRCA, who we are working with, doesn't have any concerns. And so there's a letter on file about that. Urban Forestry, we worked with carefully to maintain a mature tree at the southwest corner of the proposal. And we're happy to say that they also are satisfied with the working that we did. As for the planning department, we did also speak with them quite a bit and agree with some of their recommendations. And I would like to put forth some changes to the variances. The six we agree with 4, but 2 I do not agree with, and would like to explain why. The proposal number 5, which is to limit the floor space index to 0.5. The reality of the calculation is that when the city asks for a floor space index calculation, they delete the area below the stable top of bank. And so, in fact, we're asking for 0.51. If you consider the whole lot, it would be 0.5, but because we have to do a reduction at the very far end of the lot, it's 0.51. And then the other issue that they have for item 4 to refuse the height variance is a bit of an enigma to me after working for 25 years with planning We wanted to propose a height reduction, which I'm prepared to propose today, but they were uncomfortable and wanted the committee instead to handle the reduction. And so today I am proposing a reduction to variance for height number 9 to going from 945 meters to 9 meters, which is the height overlay area limit. So we're bringing the house down to 9.45 meters from established grade. So it is in keeping with the height overlay map of 9 meters.
This is the number 4. This is the number 4 that they're asked to refuse it, right?
That's their recommendation, number 4.
Of number
but
9.
So I'm proposing a reduction of height from 945 to 9 meters in variance number 9. I am proposing an increase to variance 1 of 0.9 meters. Variance 2 increases to 0.9 meters.
0.1.
0.9. This is their recommendation, and we are agreeing with that.
Yeah.
Variance 6 increases to 0.9 meters, also their recommendation. And variance 7, by implication, also is reduced to 0.9 meters. Variance 7 having to do with the rear yard canopy. So those 4 variances are reduced as per their recommendation. And as I'm stating, it's really variance 4 that we wanted to work with them to reduce. Usually the planning department works with us on it, but for some reason in this case they preferred that the committee make that decision. Just one other note is that 2 other points. I did my research on the neighborhood and looked at the various heights that have been proposed and accepted by committee, and on average for 14 homes in the real close vicinity, the average height approved was 9.7 under the old bylaw and 10.63 under the new bylaw. We're asking for 9 meters.
You'll have a chance to come back. You exceeded your 5 minutes.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. You'll come back and we'll have probably some questions from the members.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer. No
in
problem.
the meantime,
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. Before we go, I just want him to repeat the variance number 16, the new floor space index that you proposed.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. So because of the way that established grade is calculated and where the first floor is set, it appears from their calculation, they include the area of the basement. They're calling the basement the first floor because of the geography of the site. But in fact, it's a 2-story house, not a 3-story house. So they're including, and the staff report clarifies that as well. They don't really have an issue with that because it's not really that much FSI. It's in fact 0.51, not 0.73.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Miss Attarodi, did you get the answer? The FSI, because the floor, the basement is included, that's why it increased the FSI. So
yes, but the FSI actually is 0.51, but he's not modifying anything. His explanation is that this is the way that the city calculate because of the basement, correct? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So we have we're going to get the other speaker, who is Lotz Fulgraf. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I will make it very quick, though. I have no further comments. I appreciate the efforts that have been made to comply with the requirements by the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just for the records, we'd like you to state your name and address, please.
Oh, okay. I'm speaking for the Lawrence Park Ratepayers Association. My address is 23 Stratheden Road in Toronto.
Thank you. Any question for this gentleman? He has no more. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Lebrac, you want to come back and see if there's any questions from the members? To rebuttal, there is nothing to rebuttal because the Mr. Fulbrack is okay with the changes here. Any questions to this? to this applicant? Any more questions? No? Okay, if there is no questions, can I have a motion, please? And Ms. Satarodi, please go over the changes and your whatever you're proposing.
Okay, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to approve this application with the following changes. Variance number 1, 2, 6, and 7. As per staff recommendation is now 0.9 meter. The setback is 0.9 meters. And the height, the proposed height is 9 meters. And also, I would like to attach it to the recommendation from staff that the dwelling be developed substantially in accordance with the side yard setback shown on the site plan drawing attached to this report. And let me check if there is any forestry. Yes, subjected to urban forestry.
Okay, thank you. Second, Mr. Klassen, second. All in favor? Okay. Mr. Lebrak, your application is unanimously approved based on those changes, okay?
Thank you so much and have a good day.
Number 13, we deferred it. Number 14, which is 17 Krieger Crescent. And we have here, we have just one speaker who is the agent, and that's Amanda Galati. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Can you please repeat your name and give us your address?
Yes, my name is Amanda Galati. I'm the owner of 17 Krieger Crescent, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay, so we have here to build a second story addition and a side one-story addition. We have 5 variances, and there is no other speaker. Let's see if the members have any question. Members, do we need any presentation? No. Okay. Ms. Galati, we don't need a presentation, and we'd like to move on to the decision. Do you like to say anything to the committee?
No, that's
No.
it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion, please? Ms. Sankar?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I think this application meets the 4 tests. I motion to approve it.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? Okay, Ms. Galati, your application is approved unanimously.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.
You too. Application number 15, which is 597 Millwood Road, and we have just one speaker, Miss Ida Evangelista. Are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Ida Evangelista here on behalf, actually, good afternoon, on behalf of the owners.
Yes. And would you like to repeat?
Time flies.
Could you please tell us your address because we need it for the record?
My address is 53 Blythwood Avenue, Toronto.
Thank you. We don't have any other speaker here. Let me see it. This is to construct a second-story addition to the front of the existing semi-detached. We have just one variance, 0.6 as compared to 0.7 FSI. Can I have, do we need a presentation? No? Okay. Ms. Evangelista, we don't need the presentation. Did you want to say something to the committee before we move on?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the application is very straightforward. We are adding an additional 5.4 square meters. That's just at the front of the house, just to make that second story bedroom a little bigger. And I believe that this does meet the 4 tests. And I submit that this is in keeping with the area.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Sankar? Oh, sorry. I had two hands there.
Sure, I'll
Mr.
go ahead there,
Mr.
Mr.
Bartolo.
Chair.
Okay,
Yep,
Mr.
I agree that this application is minor in nature and needs to test. I'll
Thank
put
you.
forward a motion to
There's no
approve.
condition, yeah. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? Okay, yeah, is unanimously approved, Ms. Evangelista.
Thank you.
Application number 16, which is 362 Hounslow Avenue. And this we have Mr. Mehdi Husseini. Mr. Mehdi Husseini, are you there?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Yes, can you hear me?
Could you please repeat your name and give us your address?
Yes, my name is Mehdi Hosseini, 201 Steeles Avenue East.
Okay.
I'm the agent and designer on behalf of the owner.
Thank you. We have one more speaker here registered, so we need you to make a small presentation. And we do, this one here is is to build a new dwelling. You have 4 variances. Staff report is asking to refuse variance number 2 and B to the condition to build in accordance with the east elevation. Council letter supports the staff recommendation to refuse number 2 and to impose the condition. So could you please include that in your presentation, and I'm going to give you the 5 minutes and I'm starting it now.
Yes. So as you can see, there are 5 minor variances that we are applying for. The first one is the minor variance for the setback towards the side of streets, which is we're asking for 1.528 meters instead of 2.7 meters. The second one, which is the one that councilor sent a letter and also the planning staff recommended refusal, is for the second driveway on the side of the street, which the client would like to have that in order to getting the access for the car to the backyard for the equipment or delivery of the stuff like that. So I understand that the planning department doesn't like that, and when I was talking to them, they said if the garage, the attached garage, so the detached garage that was there, staying there, they wouldn't have any problem with it. Now that the owner doesn't want to have that garage staying there, they recommended this to be refused. In regards to number 3, we are asking for 8.4 meters wall height instead of 7.5 meters, and that's because of the shape of the building, which has the dormer windows that are going on top. That's what we're asking for that. 32% coverage we're asking instead of 30%. And also we're asking for 8.97, which only 17 centimeters higher than 8.8 meter allowable height. If there's any question, I would be happy to answer.
Okay. All right. So you're not making any changes, huh?
No changes.
Okay. So we'll come back to you when we hear the other speaker, and we'll have questions if there is any after. We have here a registered speaker, Nicodemo Bruces. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah. Could you please state?
Yes, I am.
Could you please state your name and address?
Nico Bruzzese at 351 Hounslow Avenue,
Thank you.
North York, Ontario, M2R 1H4.
Thank you. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Tell us what's your concern about this application.
Well, thank you very much. First and foremost, we are concerned with the general character and how it is impacting onto the neighborhood as a whole. The home that's being proposed is quite large, and there are some serious considerations regarding some of the trees. They're talking about the minimum required side yard setback is considerable, from 2.7 to 1.5. And there are a number of trees there, particularly one right next to the pool, which I don't understand how they're going to have a tree there and at the same time construct a pool. it doesn't make sense to me. I consider that not just a construction issue, but also one that doesn't make sense. If you're going to have a tree that close to a pool, it's not going to survive. The other thing I need to ask is item number 2, which has already been denied. One second here. Yeah, thank you. My wife is here with me. It says here, a lot in the residential zone category may have a driveway with 2 points of vehicle access to the same street. If the lot has a lot frontage greater than 18, the lot has a frontage of 12.9. Well, obviously, it needs an amendment on that. However, what we see here is not a driveway with 2 access. We're seeing 2 driveways. They're distinct. They're not connected in any way, shape, or form. The way it's written here, my understanding would be that this would be something like a semicircle rather than an actual 2 distinct driveways, which is what is being proposed in the actual plans itself. Outside of that, the neighbors on the other side, their home would be considerably impacted by the increase in height on their side. As you can see here, it says all side exterior main wall facing a lots line is 7.5, 8.2 is what is being, or 8.4 is what is being proposed. That's a considerable height differential that will impact the neighborhood, particularly our neighbor to the west of the proposed site. The last things here I see might be, I think that's it. And considering the fact that there is going to be a pool, I'm not taking away the fact of privacy, but quite frankly, as you can see, the original land right now has none. There's very few properties in the neighborhood that actually have fences. I would probably propose that there is going to be quite a large and substantial size fence to protect privacy, and rightly so, for anyone who wants to swim in the backyard. And thank you much for your time.
Okay. I just, I understand I see you understand the situation here. Apart from the recommendation of the staff to refuse one and change the other one, are you okay with those changes, or you want something else?
Number 2?
Well, it said refuse number 2, right?
Yes, number 2, yes.
And then to build in accordance with the west-east elevation drawing. So you're okay with that refusal?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see if the members have any question. Any question to this speaker? No? Okay. If not, we'll get back the agent. Could you please come back, Mr. Hosseini?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
please address those concerns. Yeah.
Yes. In response to the questions and concerns that the neighbor had, we already talked to the neighbor adjacent to this property, and they don't have any comments regarding this proposal regarding the setbacks. And regarding the pool, yes, we understand that. We are in the process to talk to the forestry department, and we're going to assure the neighbors if there is a tree that has to be preserved, we don't move the pool in the area that we can have it legally. So we don't have any issue with that. And in regards to the driveway, as I said, we would like to have that as an option to keep that. But if that's the comment that we're getting from the planning department, we would consider it, and we try to resolve that issue.
Could you please speak up? We get you. You're cutting off.
Now?
Yeah, a little bit better. Go ahead.
Okay. So as I said, we're okay to move the pole in order to preserve the tree. So we are in the process applying to the forestry department to resolve those issues, and it's going to be resolved. And in regards to the fences, we're going to have whatever is required and allowed by law. So we're going to be compliant with all of those to making the neighbors assured that we are not going to have any other huge fences around the property. If there is any other questions, I would be happy to answer.
Okay, so conclusion, you're not making any changes, and you agree or disagree with the staff recommendation?
I'm not disagreeing, but I would like to committee to make the decision for that
Yeah,
for that minor variance.
so you don't want to change anything. Okay, let's
Yeah.
see. Any questions to this speaker, please? No questions? Oh, Mr. Klassen? You had a question? No. Okay, can I have a motion then? Mr. Bartolo?
Mr. Chair, I will put forward, excuse me, I like seeing the site and understanding the driveway access, which I understand that staff report is considered. And they're talking about lots with a frontage of 12.9 meters, which is true in this case, but it's a corner lot and the opposite street is 40 meters long. So I'm of the opinion that the two driveway access is appropriate for this. So I will put forward a motion to approve this application, subject to the condition that it be proposed and it be developed substantially in accordance with the west and east elevation drawings submitted to the Committee of Adjustment and subject to the conditions noted in the forestry memo attached.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Sankar, all in favor? I see two. Ms. Opposed? Okay, there are two opposing, and I think I'm going along with the motion to approve the application subject to that condition. Okay, so so your application is approved subject just to the condition and forestry, if any. Okay. He's gone. Mr. Hosseini? He's gone. Okay. Number 17. Number 17, we have three speakers, the agent and two more. Mr. Tai Rayuk, are you there? Tai Rayuk?
Yes, it's
I hope
yes,
you
it's
pronounced your name
it's
properly.
Tay Rook.
Yeah?
No, no worries, sir. It's Tay Rook. I'm the planner for the owners of the property at 76 Wayburn Crescent.
Thank you. And what's your address, your own address?
18 Young Street.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So we have two more speakers here, and I'd like you to make a small presentation. We'll give you 5 minutes here, and please go ahead.
Sure. The proposal before you today is for a 2-story rear addition to an existing 3-story dwelling. There are variances related to side yard setback to the principal building and also side yard setback variances related to the deck at the rear. There's also variances related to building length and building depth, also FSI as well. You'll see on the site plan, as it relates to the building length and depth, there is the red dotted line, which represents a 17-meter mark. And you see two colored areas in green and in yellow. The green area represents a 1-story element of the rear wall that bumps out beyond the 17-meter mark. The yellow area represents the covered deck at the rear. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see the side elevation, which shows it a little bit more clearly, which shows the green area being the 1-story element and the deck being the yellow area. So the deck area is not a covered structure. It's an open area. It's something that's just enclosed on top. The reason why the deck has been included as part of the building length and depth is you'll note the severe grade change from the principal house towards the rear yard of the house, of the property itself. And as a result of that, that height difference creates a situation where that deck element becomes part of the building length and depth. And when you look at the side yard setbacks, and if you go back to the site plan again, and if you go to the area context map, the second area context map, you'll see that the areas that have been highlighted in purple are those dwellings that have side yard setbacks less than 1.5 meters. And this is something that's found throughout the neighborhood. And you'll also note that the immediate dwelling houses to either side of the subject proposal itself have side yard setbacks less than 1.5 meters. So this is something that's somewhat typical and characteristic of the neighborhood, and that's something, a pattern of development that can be found throughout. You'll also note that the side yard setback as it relates to the south side, which is on the bottom of the site plan, is 1.24 meters. And that is just an extension of the existing side yard setback on the south side. There is the encroachment of the side yard at 0.92 on the north side, and represents at the two-story addition portion. However, once again, you'll note that the house is on 80 and both of us at 80 and at 74. On either side of the dwellings, the side yard setback is something that's less than 1.5 meters. As for the FSI, and you'll also see on the area context map that's highlighted in green, you'll see FSIs that are greater than 0.5 in FSI. And also those houses that have been marked with stars are dwellings that have 20 meters, 17 meters or length or greater. So once again, these are pre-existing homes that have either been approved by the committee or TLAB, or original homes that are in the area that exceed the 17-meter mark. This is something that's characteristic. There's no introduction of impacts or concerns that results from this neighborhood that's not already being experienced today. This is a proposal that's more than appropriate given the situation and the way in which the house has been laid out. You'll find a similar situation in terms of this rear addition and garage situation at the back at 72 Wayburn Crescent, and also to the north at 80, which has a garage at the rear, two-story garage at the rear, similar in terms of arrangement and the way it's been deployed on the property just to the north of the subject site. Now, if there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you. Thank you. And you saw the conditions of the staff, right? The two conditions?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we have no issues with those conditions.
Okay, so let's see the other speaker. Let's hear from them. Mr. Lotz, full graph, oh yeah. He's from the ratepayer. Can we have you please here?
Yes, I've left my address before, but
we need it again for the records.
Yeah, sure. The Lawrence Park Ratepayers Association address is 3219 Young Street, Box 239.
Thank you. Tell us what you're concerned
And
about.
I'm speaking for them.
Okay.
I do appreciate the clarification and the presentation of the applicant here. The major concern for the neighbors is the back deck, if you want, the extension into the back, because it is so close to the property line. And if you look at the plans and you see this, the applicant has pointed it out, the elevation or the slope of the property, then you see that this is very much higher than the backyard. It is also very much, the deck is also very much higher than the yard on the neighboring property to the north. The concern of the neighbor there is, and we as a neighborhood organization would support that, is that a deck of that size at that level, that close to the property sideline, severely impacts the privacy of the neighbor to the north. And there are some concerns that, for example, if children are playing there, that they will constantly be in the sight of the people of this new planned building. There might also be some noise coming up, and there is no proposal for any kind of protection against this invasion of the privacy. That could be done, and I would hope that the applicant might be able to have a proposal for that, to either put privacy panels there on the side to the north, or put some plants there, maybe a cedar edge. It's only 80 centimeters to the property line, but maybe that will still fit. If that is not possible, then we would object to the deck and the side yard encroachment in the back, because it is not necessarily, it doesn't have to be that wide. It can be a little bit narrower, and so the 1.50 meter can be respected. And it is also at a height where it just allows to view the neighboring property. If it could be lowered to the walkout level, and there would be just stairs coming from the house going right away down to that level, that would also be acceptable. But the way that it is proposed now, it is just a privacy violation for the neighbors, and therefore we would object to it.
Okay, thank you. So you believe the privacy fence to the north, that would be, would mitigate the damages, right?
Yeah, or maybe a cedar hedge, whatever is appropriate. And I think they should, maybe that should be a discussion between the two neighbors, the neighbor
Okay.
to the north and the new owner.
Okay, thank you. We'll see. Any questions to this speaker? Ms. Ankar? Oh, I thought your name. Okay, next speaker we have here is Kavita
Hi.
Kandelwong. Yeah. Could you please tell us your name, state your name and address?
Hi there. My name is Kavita Candlewall, and I am the direct neighbor to the north at 80 Wayburn Crescent.
Okay, so you have, we'll give you
I'm not sure if this is permitted or
Okay,
not, but I also had
we'll give you
some.
5 minutes and tell us what's your concern.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate you giving me the time to speak. I would like to start by saying that certainly the architectural style fits with the neighborhood, and we'd love to work with them as neighbors and welcome them in the community. I have a concern with the side yard setback due to water drainage potentially, and just, how close it is. I know the planner pointed out some of the other homes in the neighborhood, but that doesn't, including ours, but our side yards backs onto a different area, 84 Wayburn, where they're putting the townhomes. My larger concern is privacy, and just as a mother, I am very concerned about the overlook and the lack of privacy into my children who use our backyard, and this would severely impact our use and enjoyment of our backyard space. And we would ask, if you are moving ahead and do go ahead and approve these variances, that the builder agree to some, to echo Mr. Fulgraff's statements, some cedar hedges, privacy panels, if not maybe lower the deck a little bit. We have had some conversation, but nothing concrete from the new owners or the builder. But the impact of the deck is significant on our family's use and enjoyment of our property, and certainly we would love to work with them so that the impact to us could be mitigated.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm trying to be respectful of your time. I hope I didn't.
No,
go
that's
over.
okay. You're entitled to 5 minutes. You used only 2 so far, so you're okay.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so it's just really I'm speaking to you all as a mom. It's just for my kids, and especially who knows how long this pandemic goes on, but we really need, our backyard, and for them to be safe, secure, and have some privacy there as well. So
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So you mentioned 2 things. One is the setbacks because of the water flowing, and secondly, the privacy fence. Now, the privacy fence, I'll see what the members are saying. As far as the water, we don't control the water here, regardless of what the site back is. So let's see what the members are saying. Any question for this speaker? No.
Well, I mean, it's very close, very, very close, and there are windows on
okay.
that side that weren't there before.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we heard you. Okay. Now we'll get back to the speaker.
apologies.
Yeah, we'll get back to the agent. Okay, so the Tay Rayok, could you please come back here and give us?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Give us your take on on what has been opposed to.
Sure. With respect to water drainage, if this project is approved and as part of the building permit process, The building code and the building department requires that all drainage occurs on the property and not overflow onto neighboring properties. So that's a requirement by the city, and we need to follow that. So I could assure you through that process that drainage will be maintained on the property accordingly. As regards to screening, we have no issues with screening in terms of a hedge or some sort of opaque fencing along the deck. Now, I just do want to mention to the neighbor, if she's still listening, that having an opaque fence at the deck level, because it's elevated due to the elevation of the property, may create more of a massing where it really isn't a one-story structure. So perhaps a hedge could be done. That's something that could be discussed with the owner of the current owner of the property and with that neighbor. So I would have no issues if the committee would, I don't know if the committee can do this, but to provide a condition saying a hedge or an opaque fence.
Okay, thank you. We'll see what the members are saying. And I forgot to mention there is 2 letters of support in our file. So members, any question to this speaker? And if no question, then we need a motion. Can I see a hand?
Mr. Speaker, can we confirm the elevation that the opaque screening is being requested for? Is it north-south?
1.5 meter by standard.
You want to see the elevation?
No. I'm questioning which elevation that's being requested for.
No, it's
Just trying to confirm. Is it the north or the south elevation?
north.
It would be the north elevation.
Yeah, it is the north. Yeah,
Okay.
it's the north. Yeah, that's exactly what I was mentioning. So I still don't see a hand. Okay, Miss Atarodi.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the staff condition that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the building length and depth, which included the excavated basement and shows on the site plan drawing attached to the report, and also the proposed be developed substantially in accordance with the north side yard setback as shown on the site plan, and also a privacy fence with a 1.5 meter along the north side of the deck with a permanent text screening, privacy screen with a height of 1.5.
Privacy screening. Okay, thank you. Second. I don't see a hand. There's no second. Oh, Mr. Bartolo. Second, all in favor? Opposed? Oh, Mr. Klassen, is for or against?
I'm for.
Forward, okay. So, opposed? No. Ms. Sankar, opposing? Mr. Sankar opposing. Okay, your application is approved, subject to the conditions mentioned in the staff report and subject to the privacy fence along the north side of the deck.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Application number 18, which is 21 Artington Court.
Mr. Chair and members, I'd like to bring to your attention that the area resident that was going to speak against this file is not present on the call.
On the 18, eh? Okay, 18,
Correct.
so there's only one speaker, right? Only Betsy.
That is correct. Just the agent is present.
Okay. 21 Artinger, we have just one speaker. Could you please, Betsy Williamson, could you please state your name if you're there?
Yes,
Address.
my name is Betsy Williamson. I'm architect at Williamson, and our office address is 235 Carlaw Avenue.
Thank you. You're the only one here. The speaker here built out. So we have just one We have 9 to construct a new dwelling, 9 variances. Staff report has only condition, and TRCA, no objection, no impact. Forestry condition number 3, and 1 letter of support. So, do we need a presentation? Members? No? Okay. Ms. Williamson, we don't need the presentation. We'll go to the committee for a decision, but do you need to speak? Do you need to say anything before we go?
No, thank you.
No. Okay. Can I have any questions or? Okay. Can I have a motion, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion in reviewing all of the variances. I do believe that it's minor in nature. There's no one to speak to this, and as such, I will motion to approve this application and make it subject to the February 3rd staff report that the proposal be developed substantially in accordance with the front yard and side yard setbacks as shown in the site plan, and it will be subject to forestry.
Thank you. Second? Ms. Satarodi, all in favor? Okay, unanimously. So your application is unanimously approved, subject to the conditions of the staff report and subject to forestry.
Thank you.
Now we have number 19. Number 19, which is 27 Tangmere Road, application number 19. We have here only one speaker who is the agent. Ryan Cyrus. Cyrus, are you there?
Good afternoon, I'm here. My name is Ryan Cyrus, 4789 Young Street.
Thank you. And we have here a new dwelling and two variances. This was the reason you're here is because the 2 variances were missed in the October 7 application, and we have here letter of objection. Okay, so let's see what any Ken, any questions?
Sorry, sir. No, not a question. I want to declare the conflict of interest. I know the architect.
Oh, okay, okay. So could you please record Ms. Atarodi has a conflict on this application, and now we have just one speaker. And members, do we need a presentation? No? Okay. Mr. Ryan, we don't need a presentation. And do you want to say something to the committee before we move on?
Not really. Everything is hopefully straightforward.
Okay, not really. Yeah? Okay. Can I have a motion, please? Ms. Sankar?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I do believe upon looking at this, it's minor in nature, and I'll put forward a motion to approve this application.
Thank you. Second? Mr. Bartolo?
Actually, Mr. Chair, I wonder if I could make a friendly amendment.
Which is?
To that motion that it be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan.
With the site plan. Are you okay, Ms. Sankar, on that? Friendly amendment? Okay?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. All right. All in favor? Okay. Your application is approved, subject to that condition, and there is a letter of objection. No, that's it. That's all there is. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're going to break. Unfortunately, just 1 hour. So. Half an hour, I meant, yeah, 1:30. We'll start at 1:30. Half an hour, yeah, right. Okay, so, bon appetit.